Today we are going to be talking about my child loss. Growing up in my family, I have a stepdad who was my dad. I knew who my biological dad is, but growing up it was a loving home. We did everything. I don't think it was an abnormal family setting, basketball. We did a lot of basketball playing. Outdoors, I was a kid. I played outside. Not like these days where everybody's on the phone. Other than that, it was a normal childhood for me. I knew exactly who my biological dad was. Didn't have anything to do with him, but my stepdad took the role, and I just call him my dad. I don't say my stepdad or anything, so he's just my dad. My relationship with my mother is great. We have our ups and downs just like any mother-daughter relationship. Of course, when I was younger, it was amazing. Yes, mom, no, mom. And now I test it. Well, mom, I don't think so. But I think that's a normal relationship that you have with your mother. And honestly, I look up to my mom. So growing up, I've always wanted to be a mom. I had the dolls, I had the babies. My first pregnancy, I had a son. And we were really excited, and it was the most beautiful, amazing pregnancy that I could ask for. Like I said, my husband and I was really excited to be first parents. It went amazing. We had him in December, so just before Christmas. No complications, nothing like that. I didn't have morning sickness. I didn't have anything. I had stomach surgery, so I was losing weight while he was growing. Had a delivery within probably an hour of going there, so there was no complications. Shortly after we had Darnell, we found out that we were pregnant again. We were ecstatic actually, because then he had a sibling. Coming from an only child myself, I was excited to have another child. Her name is Maya, and I'll get to that. How I found out I was a girl. I found out I was pregnant 4 weeks. I announced it to everybody when I was 8 weeks, though, on Facebook. My second pregnancy, I was ecstatic. My husband was ecstatic. We're extending our family. Super happy because I am an only child, so my son's gonna get a sibling. And I remember taking the pregnancy test, and oh my God, 4 weeks, you know what I mean? And I'm pregnant. I know I'm pregnant. And down to where I can finally post it on Facebook because it's the safe, 8 weeks pregnant. I posted it, super excited. We were hoping for a girl because we had a son, so we were hoping for a girl just because, the older brother could take care of the sister. And we end up finding out, we went to an ultrasound in July. The ultrasound, we were getting the gender reveal. And from the gender reveal, we found out it was a girl. So we were even more ecstatic because that's what we wanted. We had a name for her already picked. Of course, we didn't have a boy name. We had a girl name picked. And during that scan, the person that was scanning for the gender, my husband was seeing stuff on the actual scans, and he was questioning her. Oh, what is that? Is that normal? And she was like, oh, everything's fine, just kind of hushing his, comments. Me, I'm just a little worried because the way she was kind of hushing it. By the end of the scan, she did tell us that we need to go see a doctor. We need to go see your doctor and get I don't know the correct term, of course, but you need to get more of a scan of your daughter. It took a while for us to get into the doctor's appointment. I said, I have some concerns, and I need to know what's going on with my baby. They did a scan, I think a week later after that, after me begging, I need to get a scan. I got a scan, and then they said, oh, well, you need to go see a specialist. And I lived in Northern California, so I was in Chico, and I had to go to Sacramento, so it's about an hour and a half drive. And so I did. So I went down there. I had to get the needle inside to get the amniotic fluid, and that's how they did the scan. And I didn't have the results right then. It was going to take a couple weeks for us to get back of what it is. When we got the results, it was devastating. As a new mother, it was devastating. My husband, it was that thing where you don't know what this paperwork is telling you. And it was trisomy 13. And I didn't know what it is. I had no idea. My husband didn't really know anything either. And my husband is a documentary guru, and he researches everything. They try to explain it to me, but at that point, you're not really listening. All you're hearing is something's wrong with your baby, and what do you do? After that appointment, they said, well, we need to schedule a termination for you. And I said, what do you mean a termination? And they're trying to tell you the details of what trisomy 13 is and what you're supposed to do. And I didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? And it was hard because all the stuff that these medical people are telling you what to do, you're just like, okay, I guess so. You know what I mean? And I said, I need a day. I need to know what this is. We stopped with all the consulting for me of constantly, they're telling me the information. And I said, I just need to go home. I need to know what this is myself and research it. And that's what me and my husband did that night. We researched it and went over the documents that they gave us, because I don't want to terminate. I don't want to give an abortion. I don't believe in that. We went home. We looked online. Trisomy 13 affects the baby a lot more than I ever thought. 13 was the oldest that I saw that was living. That was no lifespan, basically, as well as what they were saying is that she had holes in her heart, a missing lung. There was all different things. The amniotic fluid was too much, so she wasn't swallowing. I worked with Down syndrome my whole life. I have no problem if she was Down syndrome. I'm not going to terminate a baby who's Down syndrome. That's just going to be some extra love. You know what I mean? Of course, I had an 8-month-year-old. I had to make a decision. I was 23 weeks. In California, you can't terminate after 24. Me and my husband, they said that I had to make a decision within the day because of how far along I was. I was 6 months pregnant. Looking at it, grieving about it, not knowing what to do, but then don't be selfish because she could die inside of me. She can die as soon as she's born. There's all these what ifs. We made the decision. We called in the morning and we told them that we decided to have a termination because I didn't like the word abortion that they kept on saying to me. They scheduled it, and it was for August 16th, and that is the day that we went in to the abortion clinic. I had a termination. That day was the hardest thing because, here I am, I'm seeing other moms who are having abortions, and it was just like they were nonchalant, and here I'm in tears having a termination, not wanting to. They did the most amazing thing that I didn't think that they were going to do. Is I was hysterical for one. I wanted my husband. They said no. And I said, I need him. And they let him come in after it was over. But they also gave me footprints of her. So I have that, which up here is, I have it in the frame with all my sonograms and stuff. We celebrate her on that day. After we had that happen, there was more things in life. We didn't stop having kids. We wanted more kids. So after we got home, I questioned it a lot. Did I do right? Did we do the right thing? My husband I always say yin and yang with him because he's always there. And he goes, we did do the right decision, Heather. You know as well as I do, the lifespan that we saw was just not good for her. It wasn't good for Darnell, which is our son at the time, I know that decision was the hardest decision of my life. But I know, seeing there wasn't a lot of pros, all the cons that were going on with her, physically, everything that was going on with her, I know I made the right decision. I don't regret that. At first, I regretted that because, you get the what ifs. But I know I did right by her. The thoughts of, should we have more kids? Can we have more kids? Are we going to have another baby that's trisomy 13 after? Are they going to be healthy? Or, what can this happen again? We can't go on the what ifs. If it comes again, we'll just deal with it at that time. But it doesn't mean that we don't stop trying or we don't want more kids, because both of us want a big family. He comes from a big family. I come from an only child. I have stepbrother and sisters, and I want the family aspect. I want my kid to have siblings. And so after that, after some time, it took some time. It was February. We found out we were pregnant again. Maybe January, February, I can't remember. We found out we were pregnant again. This time with that, I had a different doctor. And I told him about what we just experienced. And she was amazing going through it. More tests done. I didn't want to do the needle, but more tests, more observing ultrasounds. And a doctor that was very caring for me. And we found out we did the ultrasound again about if it was a boy or girl. And it was a boy. He's our rainbow baby. He knows he's our rainbow baby. After that, we got pregnant again. Like literally right after. And we had a girl. And we named her Queen. And Maya is her middle name. And she knows exactly what it stands for. And again, that didn't stop us again. 2019, we got another boy. Every doctor has gotten through the scans because in the back of my mind, I needed to make sure whatever was going on with the scans, ultrasounds, we've had a trisomy baby, we needed to have those scans to make sure that we could catch it early, or even if it was Down syndrome or anything like that, we wanted to make sure that we always knew what was going on. But it didn't stop us. It didn't stop us from having more children at all. So it's really important for me that my children know that there's 5 of them. My parents know 5 of them. I've made my mom a grandma's little, thing, and Maya's in that. My husband's got me a necklace. Maya's in that birthstone. We celebrate her every year of how old she would be. And it's important for my kids to know that she's there, and we celebrate her. We celebrate the life for her. I've had her cremated. I have her ashes up. I have just this poster made for her because that's all I have. There's a flower, a rose, because dried up rose. That was right after it happened. It was the first rose that my husband gave me for what happened to me. And so to me, that's a cherished moment for me that's in that. We sing happy birthday. We get cakes, for her to celebrate her. They all know who she is. I feel it's very important to keep her memory alive because she's my 5th child. Anytime someone asks, oh, you have 5 children, but I only see 4. Well, the 5th one had trisomy 13. And then that's when it opens up for me to explain to them what trisomy 13 is. I think it's something that benefits moms who don't know what that is. Even husbands, it opens up a conversation and they can Google it and they see what exactly it is. I'm so sorry you went through that. I could never. I understand that, but also the what ifs. I don't do that game anymore. I know what I did was best for her in that moment. So me saying, well, what if I wish I knew what she'd be like now? Or no, I don't do that. First of all, I probably break down and cry anytime I say that. But I know what I did was right for her and my family at that moment. And so celebrating her gives us all joy. We talk about her. My kids say, oh, I wonder what she would be into right now. Because right now I'm in soccer. Do you think she would like soccer, Mom? Or my daughter, Queen, Mom, I'm into dance right now. You think Maya would do the same thing? And I would say, yeah, probably. You guys would probably be side by side doing a recital together. I mean, we keep her alive. And I think that is the best thing for my family. So on Mother's Day and on her death day, those are the biggest times that I think about her. I have a chaotic family because I have, 4 children around me at all times. On those days are the days where I, give some remembrance to her and think about her. And not the what ifs, but just, I love you. I wish you were here, but I know that I'll see you someday. Those are the biggest things that I could say that when I'm by myself and have that personal time. I also have some relatives that are gone. So that year, 2013, was actually the worst year for me. You know how they say things come in 3. Well, in March of that year, about the time I found out I was having another baby, which was Maya, I lost my grandpa. And then we lost Maya. And then in November, we lost my husband's mother. And her name was Queen. I could think right now, it gives me a little bit of heart and joy that my grandpa and his mother is the ones taking care of Maya. And we say that all the time. My daughter, Queen, is named by my mother-in-law, and her middle name is Maya, after Maya, her sister. And so Queen knows what her name stands for and who she's. My grandma Queen and my sister Maya. I just wanted to explain that a little bit to you, just so that way you knew that 2013 was a horrible year for us. But I also have a little joy when it comes to knowing that they're watching over her. My best advice to any mothers that are going through trisomy 13 is to do what's best for you and best for your family. I personally did what was best for my family and for my daughter. But ultimately, it's going to be your decision. It's okay if you decide to keep the baby and have her or him live until they're 1 minute out the womb and you got to hold them, or you had them and they lived until they were 1 year old, 2 years old, etc. Do what's best for you and your family.